Let's talk about one of your memories. Pick the one you'd save. The afternoon, the kitchen, somebody's face. You've got it, and it's sitting there whole, and you can walk around inside it. That is the one we are going to follow together because we want to show you where it has been. It has not been sitting still. It's been traveling, and it has come back different, and nobody told you. So here's our traveler, and he's carrying the thing he loves. One scrap of paper with an afternoon on it. He is not careless with it. He's the opposite. He keeps it in his coat, close to his chest, and he takes it out at tables and shows people, and they lean in, and that's the happiest he gets. He wants to keep it exactly as it is. That is the whole voyage, and that is all he wants, and we should probably tell him now that it is not going to work. The first island is the one he walks onto without noticing. He tells the story the way he always tells it, the way we all tell the ones we love, and when he puts it back in his coat, there's a canoe in it that used to be something else. Now, this really happened, not to him, but to a room full of students in Cambridge in 1932. A man called Frederic Bartlett gave them a folk tale that wasn't theirs, a Native American story with ghosts in it, and asked them to tell it back. And they did, again and again over months, and it drifted. Canoes turned into boats, and hunting seals turned into fishing. The ghosts, which the whole story hangs on, quietly left. And here's the why, because the why is the good part. You don't keep a copy, you keep a rough shape, and you rebuild the rest out of whatever's plausible, and plausible means plausible to you. Those students had nowhere in their heads to put a canoe, and they had a whole shelf for boats. So the canoe went in the boat drawer on the way past. Nobody lied, they just did the thing that all of us do. And the join does not show. He's on the second island before he's noticed the first. Somebody asks him about the afternoon, and they only ask, that is all they do. But they use a hard word, a fast word, and when he answers, the afternoon is a little louder than it was. That one's from 1974. Elizabeth Loftus and John Palmer showed people a car crash on film and asked how fast the cars were going. Some of them got asked when the cars hit, and others got asked when the cars smashed. It was the same film, and one different word gave them a different speed, and the why lands harder than the finding. Your memory is not sealed off, and it is being rebuilt in the room you are standing in, out of the room you are standing in. So, every time he's told it at a table, he hasn't been reading it out to us. He's been building it again for us, with our faces in front of him. By now he's frightened, and he does what we'd all do. He stops telling it to anybody, and he puts it away in a box. He puts the box under glass, and he stands guard over it. This is the middle of the voyage, and it's the worst part, because somebody has to tell him the truth. It drifts anyway, and locking it up is not a way of keeping it. It is only a way of not finding out. The last island is a long way out, and he nearly doesn't go. It's the one where a story has been held for 7,000 years. That's real, and it's the fact that turned this whole film around for us. In 2016, Patrick Nunn and Nicholas Reid gathered Aboriginal Australian stories from 21 places around the coast, and the stories all describe the same thing. The sea coming in, and land that people used to walk across gone under the water. And you can date that, because the sea settled where it is now about 7,000 years ago. Some of those stories look older than that, which is strange, isn't it? Because scholars of oral tradition will tell you 800 years is roughly the limit. He arrives expecting to meet people with better memories than his. That is what all of us expected, and they have not got them because they have the same equipment we do. What they've got that he hasn't is a structure. One family is answerable for a story. Other people's actual job is to hear it and put it right. Getting it wrong is something somebody notices, out loud, and there are consequences. It is not a private thing happening inside one head. It is a job of work kept up on purpose by people who do not all like each other. And that's when he looks back at the first island and sees what was really going on there. Bartlett took a story out of the culture that had been keeping it. He removed every single person whose job was to correct it. He handed it to strangers who owed nobody anything and asked them to remember alone, and then he found that it fell apart. He was not wrong about the thing he actually saw in front of him, but what he'd measured was a story with the scaffolding pulled out from under it. And we've spent 90 years quoting that as a fact about the human mind. A good part of it is a fact about the room. His students, by the way, were Cambridge undergraduates, so it's worth us asking whenever somebody hands us a result about people, which people? He goes home. And he does the thing he's been avoiding the whole voyage, which is that he takes the afternoon out of his coat and tells it to the people who were actually there. And they interrupt him. It was not raining, they tell him. And that was not the room, and you were not even there for that part of it. It gets smaller in his hands, and bits of it turn out to have belonged to somebody else, or to nobody at all. And it stops drifting, because it's finally being held by more than one person. So that is what we would say to you about the one you picked at the start. We would not throw it out, because it is probably roughly right, and roughly right is what all of us are working with. But we should all stop taking the smoothness as proof, because we know now that the smoothness is something we manufacture. And if it really matters to you, don't concentrate harder on it. We would build it something to stand in. Write it down near the time it happened, and say it out loud to somebody else who was there, and let them push back at you. Keep the people who correct you, because a memory nobody's allowed to correct isn't a strong one. It is only one that has never been challenged. And we owe you this at the end. There's a machine telling you all of it, and that machine has no family. Nobody among us is answerable for whether it stays true, and nobody is coming to correct it in a generation. So, don't let us be the only telling. Go and ask somebody who was there.